This unassuming generic laptop turned out to be the biggest surprise of my collection and is currently my top pick for retro gaming in native DOS. Its performance is highly tunable, covering a wide range of DOS titles, from early 286 era games all the way up to those optimized for the Pentium MMX. One of its standout features is a rare built-in game port, which lets you connect both a MIDI sound module and a game controller. Meet the Sega 862. This machine is actually a rebranded model from a family of laptops built by Taiwanese ODM Nan Tan, better known as Clevo. The Nan Tan FMA series was a line of white-label barebones systems sold under obscure brands like Aspen, K-Pop, Royal, as well as more recognizable names like Zeus and Sanyo. If you're trying to track one down online, search for the FMA 862 model number. As with every laptop, before diving in, I recommend checking for internal battery leaks. This system uses a 3V BR1225 lithium battery soldered directly to the motherboard, which makes it quite tricky to access. Replacing it would require removing the motherboard completely. The good news, lithium batteries rarely leak, so for now, I'm just leaving it as is. Here's a treat for audio purists, a Yamaha YMF262 chip for authentic OPL3 FM sound. Removing the heatsink reveals a socket 7 Pentium MMX running at 233 MHz with a core voltage of 2.8 volts. Surprisingly, the heatsink is in direct contact with the CPU, so let's fix it right away with a piece of thermal pad. Underneath, there are two 72-pin RAM slots. I'm not entirely sure of the max supported RAM. In addition to the integrated 16MB of RAM, I guess it can handle 2 times 16MB modules for a total of 48MB. Next to it, this bottom compartment reveals an Opti 930 audio controller. The 12-inch 800x600 active matrix display is powered by a Trident Cyber 9385 graphics chip on the PCI bus with 2MB of VRAM. While this chip is notorious for being sluggish, it's more than adequate for 2D gaming. The Sega also includes a CD-ROM drive, a floppy drive, and a proprietary hard drive caddy. The hard drive caddy is easy enough to just open it up in order to access the storage for file transfers. On the left side, there are two PCMCIA slots, a sleep button, headphone, mic, line-in jacks, and a composite TV out. Around the back, there's a VGA serial parallel docking port infrared PS2, a power socket, and the pièce de résistance, a built-in MIDI game port. That's an exceptionally rare feature for a laptop, and I couldn't be more excited about it. The BIOS can be accessed with the Ctrl-Alt-S keys during boot up. It is quite limited, but there's one standout option, toggling speed step, which halves the CPU frequency. This allows for better performance tuning for these speed-sensitive titles. A small LCD panel below the main display provides feedback on CPU throttling, drive access, and keyboard states like numlock and caps lock. Screen brightness, contrast, and sound volume are all adjusted via keyboard shortcuts. The BIOS on this system only supports hard drives up to 4GB with a max partition size of 2GB. Larger drives won't boot at all. Perhaps a BIOS update could fix it, but I haven't found the tools to do it yet. Audio is configured via the Opti Sound utility. The screen is bright with good contrast, but as expected, the native 800x600 resolution does result in some blocky icons due to nearest neighbor scaling. The graphics chip does stretch the video to full screen though. The CPU tweaking capabilities are excellent. Most speed-sensitive DOS games run beautifully. One issue I noticed is that digitized sounds stutters in some cut sections of certain games. It might be just a matter of IRQ reassignment, but I haven't had success resolving it yet. Aside from that, there is no problem with the true OPL3 FM sound, and if you're not satisfied, you can always hook up an MT32 non-intelligent mode or your favorite general MIDI module. I can't overstate how much of a game changer it is to have native game controller and joystick support, especially for titles that require analog input. For a machine with a 233 MHz CPU, the 3D performance is particularly sluggish. In Quake 3D, I obtain only 8.3 frames per second at 640 by 480. At 320 by 480, I obtain 19.6 frames per second, 320 by 400, 22 frames per second, and 320 by 200, a very decent 32.2 frames per second. 3D Bench gives a modest score of 84.6. However, benchmarks like SpeedSys and SysInfo confirm Pentium 233 MHz performance, so I'm attributing the weak 3D results to the Trident GPU. That said, the Sega 862 allows for impressive CPU scaling with SETMUL, from a 286 all the way up to full Pentium, offering a full decade of performance compatibility. By popular request, here's a quick guide on using SETMUL. Let's try it out. To disable the code cache, type SETMUL space CCD and hit enter. To re-enable the code cache, type SETMUL space CCE. You can combine multiple options as well. For example, to disable code cache, data cache, and branch prediction, type SETMUL space CCD space DCD and space BPD. And to set the CPU to its default states, type SETMUL space PFE followed by enter. Let's wrap it up. It's unfortunate that the Trident GPU bottlenecks the system 3D potential, and some digitized sound issues persist, and then it lacks support for drives larger than 4 GB and partitions over 2 GB. Despite all that, I genuinely like this laptop. It ticks many important boxes: excellent performance tweaking, true Yamaha OPL3 chip, built-in wavetable header, MIDI game port, and a bright screen with hardware scaling. It earns a score of 4.1, the highest of any laptop I've tested so far without the aid of a docking station. But most importantly, this discovery opens up a whole new realm of possibilities. It gives me direction and hope there's a number of lesser-known Tier 2 or generic brand laptops out there waiting to be found. I'm honestly excited. It puts me that much closer to deliberating on the ultimate DOS gaming laptop. If you haven't already done so, you can show your support by hitting that like button and subscribe. See you in the next episode.